Good afternoon, dear viewers. I'm Peter Cleverurangwa. I come back. Our channel is Obuvanganzo, the way of Spinoza, or the wisdom, Spinoza's wisdom. Obuvanganzo is a Kinyarwanda word that means literature. It's like literature. Okay, without further ado, let me start with what I have prepared for you. I will read a piece that concerns about what we call rationalism. Rationalism is like the use of reason. The reason like an instrument that will help people to give sense to their life. Yeah, what I will read, will be extracted from a book called Prentice Hall Literature. Prentice Hall Literature. Okay. Normally, when you think about rationalism, you will think about a man. Maybe today we will not, I do not find him on the list, but you will think about a man like Descartes, a man like Spinoza. Descartes was the first man who developed a method, a scientific method, a rational scientific method. Descartes. He was a French writer or philosopher. After him came Spinoza. Is our ordinary, our usual philosopher that we always look at him. Now let me read. Great minds do not think alike. Great minds do not think alike. Yeah, maybe you will find people being in just one team or belonging in one group. And when you ask him a question, when you ask a member of a team, the way he will answer you, you will find even a member of the same team or of the same group. If he is far from that place, if you ask him to the second member, you will find also the same answer. But great minds do not think alike. The power of the mind itself fascinated the greatest thinkers of all of the age of rationalism. Toward the end of the 16th century, the French essayist Michel de Montaigne created a medallion with a motto encapsulating his life and work. Que sais-je? The motto of Michel de Montaigne was Que sais-je? I have even his book here, but I think it is the second book, Essai de Montaigne. I have it here. It is somehow difficult because it is from the old French. If you read it, you realize directly that the French that we speak nowadays is very new, and it derived from Latin, in fact. Yeah, if Montaigne had lived during the Middle Ages, like in 12th or 13th century, for example. If Montaigne had lived during the Middle Ages, he might have asked, what do I believe? Because in Middle Ages, it was about the authority of all knowledge. It was in the hands of the church and of the believers. So he could have asked, what do I believe? If he had lived during the romantic age, a romantic age is the age where people used like feelings. Romantic age. For example, romanticism. If romanticism, I don't find here direct the book, like the book from my friend Victor Hugo, Les Contemplations. Yeah. If he had lived in the romantic age, he might have asked, what do I feel? What do I feel? Romanticism. It's about feelings. You will find, for example, Victor Hugo writing poems about his feelings, about the love of women, the love of his daughter who died, by accident, things like those. His question, what do I know, is the central theme of his time, the age of rationalism. The age of rationalism. As I started this session, I talked about Descartes, René Descartes. He said, I have to doubt about everything. After doubting, he continued research until he found some foundation of all knowledge. The cogito ergo sum. I think, therefore I am. Is like the basis. Okay. During the Renaissance, artists and thinkers celebrated the human potential, the creative explosion of the 14th, 15th, and 16th centuries reflected a new confidence in human nature. The confidence in human nature. Rationalism, they use their reason. Because during Middle Age, they had to believe. By the 17th and 18th century, Europeans recognized the vast power of the mind itself. The power of thought forced tradition and complacency deeper into shadows. The tradition is like the views based on Bible, on Quran, things like this. Those. Yeah. Niccolo Machiavelli, for example, the mind as a weapon. The mind as a weapon. You see, for example, Niccolo Machiavelli was like a politician, was also a writer, and said that for a politician, it is not necessary, if you don't find a politician a good politician has to use the mind like a weapon. You say, for example, it is not safe for a politician to be loved, but it is safer to be feared, to be respected. Yeah, it is, for example, from Niccolo Machiavelli, the idea of the mind as a political tool found practical expression in the writing of Niccolo Machiavelli. He was Italian. He was born in 1469. Yeah, I will not continue to talk about him. Even his picture is right here. You can find his picture, Niccolo Machiavelli. Okay, let me continue. We find also Blaise Pascal, the dialogue of reason and religion. You see, my friends, here there is like the confidence, the belief in what? in human nature. But because as we have great minds, they will not think alike. Everyone will suggest his way of thinking, of viewing, of thinking. Blaise Pascal is from France. Dialogue of Reason and Religion, for example. He was born in 1623. He said he is a Blaise Pascal, a French mathematician, physicist, and religious philosopher. Pondered problems both earthly and heavenly. He manifested his mathematical genius at the age of 12 by independently rediscovering Euclid's first 32 propositions of geometry. He also engineered the world's first calculator. You see, Blaise Pascal has discovered the first calculator. It was very, very big. It was called Pascaline. He's like the father of computer somehow. Okay, I will not continue with Pascal because the text would be very long. But maybe I can read this also. Pascal's paradox is that the mind has vast power, but is virtually powerless in comparison with the infinite. The term infinite comes back. You know Giordano Bruno, you know you know also Spinoza. Spinoza also talked about this infinite. The universe as infinite, but the universe is in the philosopher Spinoza, the universe is infinite and it is equated with God. But here I ask myself, how Pascal, a good mathematician, said there is infinite. But aside, yes, there is a human mind that is very frail, that is very simple, that is very weak compared to the infinite. But why he didn't equate infinite with God like did Spinoza very later? John Locke. Now let us see John Locke. Reason and Revolution. To the English philosopher John Locke, who was born in 1632, the human mind is a tabula rasa. It means it is very simple. Tabula rasa. It is a table like this. The human mind, a tabula rasa. It says he started things called empiricism. Saying that when someone is born, he doesn't have ideas. He's empty. His mind is empty. So with experience, the experience will shape his mind, will write like ideas. He has even influenced many political philosophers. For example, John Locke wrote the two treatises of government in 1690. He said, Locke argued that people are free to choose their own government. Yes, I can reach here. John Locke reasoned that government is not based on mysticism and mystery. Rather, it has a rational purpose to protect life, liberty, and property. Do you see this? In one country, especially in Rwanda, people who belong to churches or to faith-based organizations continue to struggle, saying the government is asking us to fulfill those conditions. It is very difficult for us, and here we are we are operating in the name of God. Oh, my friends, this was in last centuries. In last centuries, we could find states based on religion. Maybe in nowadays, you can find also in some corners of the world, some states, some nations, very influenced by Quran and Bible. But it is not the case in Rwanda. Rwanda is a laïc state. So we have to use the mind, the reason, not just mysticism like revelations, things according to the Bible or Quran. Good. Let me continue. Jean-Jacques Rousseau, Johann Jacob Rousseau, Jean-Jacques Rousseau. The Social Contract. I think I have this book also. I have Confessions. Confessions. I like this book, Confessions. Maybe Jean-Jacques Rousseau is somewhere with what? Let me search, not here, maybe in another place. When I say I like Jean-Jacques Rousseau, like this book of Confessions, he was talking about, it is not about social contract. Social contract is about laws about the contract people do in order to make like a transfer from a natural society to developed society where there is a contract. When people have like a government, like any government, it is because of a contract. People have maybe elected someone. Yes. But when I tell you that I like this, I remember how it starts. This man was defending himself because people were saying, yeah, you Jean-Jacques Rousseau, you say that you are a philosopher, but you are not taking care of your family, of your children, of your wife. So there are a lot of accusations. And this man wrote Confessions. I think this is book 1. He said, je forme une entreprise qui n'est jamais d'exemple et dont l'exécution n'aura point d'imitateur. Je vais montrer un homme dans toute la vérité de la nature. Et cet homme, ce sera moi. Tu vois? Do you see? I want to make an enterprise. It will be new. No one has made this before. No one will even imitate it. Yeah, this is confession. Yeah, yes, whenever we say confession, we say Confessions of Jean-Jacques Rousseau because they are different from confessions of another man, an African called Augustine, Saint Augustine. He had also he wrote also Confessions. But Confessions of Jean-Jacques Rousseau start like this. He said, even when the trumpet will ring, I will come with this book. You see, this like he was advocating for himself, the plaidoirie, if I can say this. He said, que le jugement dernier, que la trompette du jugement dernier sonne, je viendrai se livrer à la main. Tu vois? Okay, maybe that is a kind of digression, but what I want to say is that we have like some people, Nicolas Machiavello, Blaise Pascal, John Locke, Jean-Jacques Rousseau. They are four. But those four people, they have like different ways of addressing like the society through the use of the mind. They have different ways of seeing the mind. Good. The title was Great Minds Do Not Think Alike, though. So, with this example, we can see that the debate is always possible as intellectuals. The debate is always possible. And to be a great mind, it doesn't necessarily it doesn't necessarily concern the results or your discoveries. No, but your methods, the methods that you use are crucial and more important. For example, I like the philosopher Plato. I like Plato, but I do not agree with many of his findings. But the way he used the methods are very nice. Thank you. Have a nice day.